One of the major risks in a pandemic like COVID-19 is that hospitals will be unable to accommodate all of the patients who come seeking treatment. In areas where hospitals are overextended, death tolls are likely to rise. There are ways to alleviate this strain on medical resources, sending additional beds or adding field hospitals to areas especially hard hit. But the strategy of delivering resources reactively is a poor one. At NSAC, we have simulation models that project which areas are likely to see COVID-19 outbreaks, how severe they may be, and when they are likely to occur, depending on different mitigating factors. In our COVID-19 Medical Resource Demand Dashboard, we leverage these projections to help government and public health officials identify areas where crises are likely to happen so they can plan accordingly. This dashboard provides visualizations that allow users to quickly see which areas are likely to experience those crisis conditions. The dashboard has 4 regions: scenarios, map, chart, and timeline. The map illustrates which hospital referral regions, or HRRs, are likely to hit crisis conditions during the selected week by displaying the maximum percentage of beds that are estimated to be occupied based on a number of factors. One factor is projected weekly hospitalizations, or the number of people entering the hospital each week. You can also click on specific HRRs to see information for those areas. Another factor is hospital capacity. The percentage of occupied beds is calculated under the assumption that 80% of the total bed capacity of each region is occupied with non-COVID-19 patients, and that most HRRs can accept up to 120% capacity without hitting full crisis mode. However, you may have a better understanding of limitations of your local hospitals, so you can adjust these values as needed on the hospital capacity slider. Another factor is hospital duration. The percentage of occupied beds also depends on the average duration of time COVID-19 patients typically stay in the hospital, because a person who was admitted yesterday may still need that bed today and tomorrow. The default average amount of time people stay in the hospital is currently set at 7 days, but you can change the hospital duration to see how longer or shorter average stays can impact conditions. The chart allows you to see how weekly hospitalizations are projected to change over the upcoming 6 weeks, and as a result, how the percentage of occupied beds is likely to change. In addition to the projected weekly hospitalizations, the percentage of occupied beds is influenced by the duration of the hospital stay. In addition to the projected weekly hospitalizations, the percentage of occupied beds is influenced by the duration of the hospital stay. So while these two plots may rise and fall together, there may be cases where the weekly hospitalizations peak ahead of the percentage of occupied beds. Note the uncertainty bounds on the chart. The further out we project, the greater the uncertainty, as is typically true of forecasting and projecting in general. The Data tab allows you to see the values on the chart in tabular form for a closer numeric inspection. The timeline serves 2 purposes. It allows people to see at a glance what the median weekly hospitalizations and percentage of occupied beds are projected to be for the selected area on the map, but it also allows you to select different weeks to display on the map. It includes a movie feature that allows you to watch how conditions are likely to change over the next 6 weeks. You can pause or stop the playback at any time. Note that the chart and the timeline are synchronized to the selected region on the map. Scenarios are calibrated models that we use when running the simulations for our projections. They depend on known disease parameters such as transmissibility and the number of people infected at the beginning of the outbreak, as well as the predicted effectiveness of different interventions and the degree of compliance with interventions. Scenarios are likely to change over time as different mandates are placed, medical treatments emerge, and as areas change their opening or closing statuses. You can see how different scenarios are likely to impact the projections by selecting from the buttons at the top of the page. You can also compare different scenarios on the chart by toggling between them. The percentage of occupied beds view plots graphs for all the scenarios against a backdrop that designates crisis mode based on the upper hospital capacity bound. The weekly hospitalizations graph shows how many people are projected to enter the hospital for the selected region for all scenarios. We hope you find this tool useful, and we invite you to check back often for new tutorials as we update this dashboard. You can find more information on NSAC, the Biocomplexity Institute, our work on COVID-19, and a variety of our other projects on our website. For additional tutorials, visit our YouTube channel.